When a new student walks into your building, they know the academic part is survivable. The real terror is the unstructured 45 minutes of lunch. Most schools take a remarkably passive approach to integrating these kids. We hand them a welcome folder, point them toward their locker, and hope a sense of belonging happens naturally. But social isolation often disguises itself as physical illness. You'll start to see a distinct pattern of frequent, unexplained visits to the school nurse, with a student complaining of ailments that have no clear medical cause. Watch for the quieter indicators, too. You might notice a student actively avoiding unstructured time like bus lines, or going through an entire week without being able to name a single peer. These somatic complaints and behavioral shifts represent a breakdown in the school's social scaffolding. They are signals that require immediate, structured intervention before isolation takes root. Schools build belonging through purposeful environmental architecture. It is a structured process that requires specific daily intent rather than waiting for a feeling to emerge. The first layer of that structure replaces passive materials with active connections. Instead of relying on a map and a printed schedule, you assign them a named peer buddy. Next, you establish the new 20-day rule. One specific adult commits to deliberately greeting that new student by their name every single day for their first month to establish genuine psychological safety. This timeline maps a student's emotional baseline. After a steady initial plateau, notice the steep drop-off precisely at week 3 as deep loneliness sets in. You counter that drop by scheduling a deliberate check-in at this exact valley, halting the downward trend. This environmental scaffolding successfully catches the majority of new students. However, if a student exhibits persistent, daily worry that doesn't ease with these social tactics, structural belonging has reached its upper limit. Persistent anxiety creates a threshold where social support reaches its limit. At this point, legal and ethical standards require an evaluation by a licensed clinician, the only professional qualified to make a diagnosis. For K-12 schools in Georgia, MentalSpace School acts as the specialized infrastructure designed specifically to bridge that exact clinical gap. Take a look at this network map. Rather than a scattered path where a student is forced to repeatedly retell their story to different strangers, MentalSpace assigns an unbroken line to a single, consistent therapist team dedicated specifically to your building. When immediate support is required, that exact team is available for same-day teletherapy, providing rapid crisis intervention and violence prevention the moment needs arise. The platform removes financial and regulatory hurdles, too. Medicaid families pay $0. It's in-network with major Georgia providers like BCBS, Peach State, and Aetna, while keeping districts compliant with HB 268. By integrating this frictionless clinical layer directly into the building's routine, the school's support system stops leaking students and becomes a highly effective safety net. Deploying deliberate social scaffolding alongside immediate clinical support produces a measurable aftermath. These bar charts show student performance under this model. Daily attendance jumps by 89%, while generalized anxiety plummets by 92%. Community impact runs parallel, with 85% of families highly satisfied with the integrated care model. When daily attendance rises and severe anxiety drops nearly to zero, the takeaway for modern education is clear. Schools no longer have to wait for students to adapt. They can actively engineer ecosystems where students are guaranteed to thrive. To implement this exact framework in your school district, visit mentalspacesschool.com today.